and welcome to ECCB Connects. This week, Governor Mr. Timothy N. Antoine will zoom in on the implications of Brexit for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, as well as the lessons to be learned and the opportunities it presents. Governor, welcome to ECCB Connects.
Thank you, Shamara. It's always good to be on ECCB Connects. And good day to all of our viewers, wherever they are in the region or the world.
Governor, as head of an institution with similar characteristics to the European Union, what are your views on the UK's exit from the EU?
Well, first of all, the decision of the UK people to leave the European Union is a major political shock. It's a seismic shift that will have implications both globally and regionally. The one certainty at this moment is uncertainty. Who will be the next UK Prime Minister? When will she trigger? Because we know it will be a lady now. When will she trigger Article 50? Will the UK survive as we know it? Because there are rumblings in Scotland and Northern Ireland and so on. How long will the negotiations last? What will the European Union look like when all this is all over? Those are questions for which we have no answers at this moment. And so uncertainty reigns. And unfortunately, uncertainty is not good for business or investor confidence. So the one thing that's very clear at this moment is uncertainty. As a head of a regional institution, I think it really causes us to pause and reflect on exactly what our mission is and what lessons we can learn from this experience. I am on record as saying, I think the day after the Brexit vote, that we really have to make sure that as a region, we stay connected to our people. We don't leave them behind. Because sometimes we mean well, but the truth is we are busy trying to do their business without keeping them apprised of their business and listening to their concerns, their dreams, their aspirations, and so on. And I think we as a region must ensure that people are fully engaged, they understand the direction, and that we take cognizance and counsel from the wisdom of our people as well, with respect to the path that we take and the sequence, the steps, because sometimes it's not what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. I also believe there's a need for us as a region to hasten the benefits of regional integration. We talk sometimes too long before we act. And for example, free movement of people, hassle-free travel, those are things we must deliver without further delay. Setting up businesses across the region, those things we must be able to do, because for small business people, large business people, for job creation, those are very important considerations. So I believe it's a moment for us to reflect on our regional integration movement, how far we've come, but also how much further we must go, and that we must do so a lot faster. And in doing so, do not leave the people behind. But I must tell you, I am fortified in the view that regional integration matters, it's important, and we are better off together than doing our separate parts.
Okay. So you've touched briefly on the main lessons to be learned from this situation. But of course, we know it also presents some challenges and opportunities. Let's look first at the challenges.
Okay, well, unfortunately, because of the uncertainty to which I just alluded, we see some major adverse impacts at this early stage in the proceedings. The IMF and in fact, I believe the Bank of England have projected that the UK can return to recession as early as 2017. If that happens, then it would have a direct effect, adverse effect on the economic prospects of our region.
And that being because of the...
And well, I'll come to that in a moment. But first of all, it would do so because within Europe and globally, it would probably mean that economic growth is reduced. In the case of the UK, it may actually mean a recession. What does that mean for us in the ECCU? Well, we see from a macroeconomic perspective, we see 4 channels of transmission. First, tourism. Tourism is the largest single industry in our region, the largest earner of foreign exchange in our region. About 25% of our tourists come from the UK. If there were to be a recession in the UK, we could see less tourists. We also know for a fact that the UK tourists stay longer and spend more. So they not just only come, but when they come, they spend twice the time that, say, a US visitor would spend, and they spend, some estimates, as much as 7 times more. So clearly, that could have an effect on tourism. But more than that, the fact of the matter is because the pound sterling has depreciated since the decision, Caribbean holidays have become more expensive automatically with the depreciation of the pound. The pound does not go as far in the Eastern Caribbean as it went before Brexit.
So people have less to spend.
Exactly. So the holiday has become effectively more expensive. So you have to make choices about whether you want to actually come, how long you're going to stay, and if you stay, how much you can spend, because you may still be on a fixed budget, so it means you could not spend as much or do as many things as your money would once have allowed you to do. So on the tourism side, we see a real risk there. Then there's the issue of remittances. The reality is that we get significant remittances from the UK. As a region, remittances account for about 4% of GDP, which is significant. And with a possible downturn in the UK, that could obviously mean that we see a reduction in remittances. But even if remittances remain the same, the fact that the dollar has depreciated would mean that that dollar does not go as far. And a real case now is our pensioners, the UK pensioners living in the Caribbean who've returned home. They're getting a fixed pension. All of a sudden, their pension will not go as far as it went before Brexit. So those are real issues of an adverse kind. Then there's foreign direct investment. In this period where there's uncertainty, it does not help investor confidence. People want to wait and see what's going to happen before they make decisions. You could see people holding back on investing because they want to see what will actually happen in the UK and Europe. And that could affect the Caribbean, especially in areas such as tourism, because a lot of the foreign direct investment comes in the area of tourism, hotel development and so on, hospitality area, and of course some services. Trade. We clearly will have to revisit the EPA, and it will also mean us negotiating new bilateral arrangements with the UK. The truth is, I don't know that we did a whole lot on the EPA to start with, so the follow there may not be so great. But with the new arrangements post UK exiting Europe, European Union, it would definitely mean some renegotiation of these trading arrangements. And obviously those have implications for what we sell, our exports, and that's access to those markets and that sort of thing. And then in the financial sphere, any downturn in the economy could affect our financial sector, could affect our banks, non-performing loans. Of course, we've been making good progress there. We've actually seen improvement there in the last few years. And it would be really unfortunate if we see a reversal because of this Brexit decision. So there are a lot of implications. It's still early, and what we're doing is assessing likely impacts and trying to obviously mitigate and manage those risks as far as possible.
Okay. With every situation, it presents challenges as well as opportunities. And of course, Brexit presents opportunities for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. What do you see as some of the main opportunities being presented?
Right. Well, I agree with you. Every out of adversity always comes opportunity. I'm not sure I know exactly what those opportunities are yet, but I think there will be opportunities. And the most important thing at this stage is to have a mindset that you're looking for opportunities. It's not all doom and gloom. We actually may find benefits if we're looking and we're diligent and we're nimble and so on. The first obvious opportunity is the reflection and regional integration movement, which is what we talked about a little while ago. Making sure that we strengthen the movement, that there's a sense of urgency about delivering benefits, because we're better together than pursuing our separate paths. So that's for me immediate, and that's domestic, that's regional. We must do that, and we can do that on our own. I think the second opportunity is for us to realize that we really have to strengthen our resilience frameworks. Every time we have a shock, whether it's climatic, whether it's political, whether it's economic, it does affect our capacity to respond. And therefore, the key lesson for me and the opportunity there is to make sure we press on with raising resilience. So, for example, when the ECCB talks about adopting fiscal responsibility legislation, the reason why we're saying that is because we genuinely believe in this era of shocks, every time you recover from one, a new one emerges, you have to create buffers. You have to build resilience. Fiscal responsibility legislation allows governments in times of downturn to spend more, not less. But you have to have savings. You have to have a framework to do that by having good fiscal policy and pursuing fiscal responsibility legislation, where you manage the debt well, and therefore you can then spend more when you have a downturn. That's an example. The same is true for dealing with hurricanes and natural disasters. So there's an opportunity here for us to really enhance our resilience frameworks. We've been working on those, and I think it's just we need to strengthen them and speed up that work. Now, in a practical sense, if you are a student studying in the UK, or whether it's online or in the UK, it means that you're paying less, because obviously you have to find less CC dollars to pay your fees in pound sterling. So that's a practical benefit for you right now. It is also possible that with the withdrawal of the UK out of the European Union, we will see an enhanced Commonwealth as an organization, the Commonwealth. We will see a renewed focus by the UK inside the Commonwealth. And that's a good thing, I think, for the Commonwealth and for the Caribbean, because we are obviously members of the Commonwealth. So that is a potential benefit there, where we see a stronger Commonwealth because the UK is more focused on the Commonwealth. Some people may argue, well, without being in Europe. But I think on balance, it could actually all go well for the Commonwealth Secretariat. So the Commonwealth. So, you know, they're still early days. And I think the key is to have a mindset to be looking for those opportunities.
Okay, and as you mentioned, having the mindset to look for opportunities. And with ECCB being advisor to governments, how is the ECCB positioning itself to develop that mindset to take advantage of the opportunities?
Well, first of all, it starts with us as an organization recognizing that in all of this challenge, there may be opportunities. So we are embarked now on scenario planning. You know, you look at various scenarios and you try to assess where the thing may go, and then to craft an appropriate response. So if this happens, what do we do? If this happens, what do we do? If this emerges. So it is, while we mitigate and manage risks, we also have to be looking for the opportunities, and so that we can position our governments. My feeling is that a lot of the advice that we have been given on the issue of financial stability, fiscal and sustainability, growth, competitiveness, and employment, we need to move fast on those, because I believe those will position us better as a region to withstand this shock or any other shock. So if you ask me, a lot of the advice is already available, and it is just for us to move faster in the implementation. But we are also, because of this recent development, looking at scenarios so that we can give advice. And I'm sure when the Council meets on the 22nd of July in Antigua and Barbuda, we will have some further discussions about how we see the future going forward.
Governor, we in the region here, we are part of a union, Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Like I said, similar characteristics to the European Union. What do you have to say to the people of our region who might be thinking, Brexit, is this something we should think of? Is this a move we should try to make?
Well, we could think of anything and everything. That's all right. But I will tell you, I asked myself and I asked the region to consider, where would we be without the ECCB? Where would we be? Can you imagine every country running a central bank, trying to do monetary policy, trying to run their own currency, trying to supervise banks? That would be an unmitigated disaster. I mean, really, the benefits of regional integration are there for all to see. And therefore, it is always good to take a critical look at what we're doing, so that we don't take the movement for granted. The institutions must not take themselves for granted. But at the end of the day, I think a sober reflection will conclude that we're better off pursuing these regional arrangements. And if anything, we must strengthen them, but take special care not to leave people behind. Because I think that's the area where sometimes we lapse. We mean well, but we're pushing ahead and we're not staying connected with the people. We're not keeping them, and we're not listening to what they have to say. I have said from day one since assuming office that we have to be a listening bank. And I mean that. That's why we do ECCB Connects. It's a way of us being more accountable, opening up the institution, connecting with people. What do we call it? ECCB Connects. That's a deliberate aim, and that was before Brexit, by the way. I wouldn't say we foresaw Brexit, but we certainly saw the need for us to connect with our people.
Yes.
This is exactly what we're doing on this program. So I think we have to do more of that. The questions will be asked. I think they're fair questions, because if anything, we must take a fresh guard in pursuing our regional arrangements. So if somebody questions the regional arrangements, let them do that, because out of that questioning, that critical look, must come a renewed commitment to do these things because we realize they work for us. They're in our benefit and best interest. We're not doing them because some technocrat or bureaucrat or politician wants to do them, but because we actually see the benefits of doing these things. And if that happens, then that's a good thing. That's a good legacy of Brexit with all of the uncertainty that we're dealing with at this time.
Governor, thank you very much for speaking with us again on ECCB Connects.
It's been my pleasure as always. And you're doing a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. And now for this week's financial tip.
Do you have insurance coverage for your health, property, or vehicle? Insurance coverage can provide you with financial assistance in the event of a catastrophe.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects, anytime, any place, at your convenience, check out our YouTube channel, ECCB Connects.
We've come to the end of another episode of ECCB Connects. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time.